Tattoos were once taboo in the workforce. Literally, ink would eliminate you from being in the running for the job. Nowadays, though, things have evolved socially, and many people are brandishing ink in the workplace. And with COVID remote work, we're seeing that we barely even need to see people, let alone accept their body choices, to have them effectively contribute to the mission. But tattoos in the workplace is an incredibly subjective area, right? We just said a minute ago, they're kind of becoming socially acceptable. People are thinking no big deal, right? So are tattoos you can't see acceptable? Sure. Almost nobody would argue with that. What about the inside of the wrist and having a little bit of Hindi text, right? It's visible, but tasteful, but perhaps you're ultra conservative, and this is a deal breaker for you on hiring this person, right? What about a side neck tattoo, right? Or maybe behind the ear or on the nape of the neck? Does it matter if you're a client-facing staff member or just a back office person who never sees the sun? Maybe you have different rules for different groups of people. Does it matter if you're in leadership if you have tattoos? And what if the tattoos are part of your cultural background, right? The Maori are known to have tattoos as part of their culture. So maybe it's not even a choice. They're going to have them. You can see how subjective it gets, right? Well, I'm very excited to welcome to Simply Cyber Live today, Dr. Jon Helmus. He's an ink-wearing offensive cybersecurity expert. He's a friend of Simply Cyber, and he's co-author of the critically acclaimed famed text, Cybersecurity Career Master Plan. He's also a good friend of mine. We're going to be discussing a lot today and fully want to hear from you. I saw in the chat before we got going, people talking their stories and tats. It's going to be good. Let's have a great time today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Simply Cyber Live. We're bringing cybersecurity industry experts on to share best practices, tips, and their experiences with you. We're here every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining us. If you're coming from Jax's Outpost Gray stream, I saw a couple of you already doing it. Drop an Outpost Gray hashtag in chat to let us know. I'm your host, Gerald Ozier. And over the next hour, we're going to be talking with Dr. Jon Helmus about tattoos in the modern cybersecurity workforce and beyond. He's got a lot of thoughts, a lot of personal experience, and a lot of knowledge to share with us. As I said, we love you engaging with the show, so chat away. And if you have a question or a comment that you want shared with Dr. Jon or myself, start it with a capital Q. That way we know that the question's for us and we can bring it in and have a good time and have you be part of the show. Okay, so now that we know what we're doing today, let's go grab our distinguished, inked up guest and have a good time. What's up, Dr. Jon Helmus? How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. And yourself, Dr. Ozier, how are you?
I'm fantastic, man. Congratulations on your recently minted doctorate degree. I know I've been friends with you for, I don't know, man, probably 2-3 years now. And it's been a long road for you. And I'm glad that you have achieved that milestone. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, just as well as the rest of the terminal degree holders that it's one that isn't taken lightly. So
no, it is very much a marathon and not a sprint, to say the least, and a lonely journey. But we're not here to talk about the academic trials and tribulations of a PhD journey. We're here to talk about tattoos and are they taboo? So, Jon, jumping right into it and your tattoos, I mean, clearly you have ink. Let me ask you. Yeah, right. So, let's just dive right into it instead of kind of leading up to it. So I see the neck tattoos right away, right?
Mhm.
So actually, let me back up. Let me share what some of my biases are. Okay. So
All
like
right, I like it.
I'm
Let's talk about what's wrong.
yeah. No, I'm cool with tattoos, right? And I don't have any problem with it. But visible on the neck, it's kind of funny because visible on the hands doesn't really do anything for me. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't do anything for me. But visible on the neck, obviously face. Um, I begin to apply subjective reasoning of, is this somebody I'd want to have representing the business on a newscast, or like doing a multi-million dollar merger? And I'd have to really think more about it whether or not I have an issue with it or not. But by and large, I don't have problems with tattoos. I also have 2 tattoos, and in my experience, I have seen that people without tattoos are in a different camp than people with tattoos weighing in on this particular topic. So if you're in chat when we're talking, if you don't have tattoos, qualify that, because I'd be curious if there's like 2 different factions and group opinions. But with the neck tattoos, John, have you ever experienced any type of discrimination or prejudice based on the neck tattoos, or really any of your tattoos, but the neck ones particularly I'm interested in?
Yeah. So it's a good question. So with my neck tattoos, and I'll kind of I'll talk about some of the experiences I've had having neck tattoos, and then also talk about how kind of, it's a talk about the reason why I have them, because getting, a neck tattoo is it's something that makes you extremely vulnerable, because the moment you get a neck tattoo, it's extremely hard to cover it up depending on where it is on your neck. And so I have one on the right side that goes up all the way up to my ear, and then I have one on the left side that goes up about halfway up my neck. But when it's fully finished, it's actually going to go all the way up to my ear, just like the right side, and then we're going to fill in the middle. And so some of the biases, or I guess like just some of the things that I've seen, and it's honestly surprisingly not been as much as I was anticipating, which is great. um, is some of the things that I get is, I'll get some interesting looks for my tattoos. As someone who works in education, and I've been an educator for the past 5 years, working in higher level education, that's one of the places where we see a lot of I want to say the dog and pony show, where it's a lot of politics play into your career.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and as well, being an educator as yourself. And so some of the folks that I've worked with that have actually seen me go through my tattoo journey, and they've seen me go from not having such visible tattoos. I haven't had a neck tattoo or hand tattoos for that long, but I always had my forearms tattooed. So, that's a very visible place. And so them seeing me go through some of my tattoo or artistic transitions and expressions, it's one of those things where you can tell they're thinking about it, because they'll come and shake my hand and be like, "Oh, hey, John, how are you?" Especially after being in the pandemic and getting to go and teach again on campus. They're like, "Oh," and they'll say, "Oh, I didn't know you had a neck tattoo." And I was like, "Well, last time you saw me, I didn't." And so, it's one of those things where it's a conversation starter, and you can definitely tell. I haven't really had any negative comments towards it, but it's definitely one of those things where people give you a look where
Yeah.
there's something going on behind their eyes that they don't want to talk to you about, right? And
Well, I mean, and do you think, like, I feel like in our modern PC world, I mean, if someone were to outright say we're not hiring you because of that, even though it's not illegal to discriminate with people based on their tattoos, I found that out researching for this show. You could straight up fire someone for getting a tattoo, and it's
mhm.
legal. But I feel like no one's going to come out and say it to your face. But I mean, have you ever felt that like there was an opportunity that was perfect for you, and then all of a sudden you got some side eye from a graybeard, and then now you're like the job didn't happen?
um you, it's maybe this is being a little bit more proactive on my approach, but for certain organizations like that, I just honestly don't. If I look at the culture and I realize that it's not, if I'm not going to fit the bill, and I hold no no feelings towards that company. Every company has their own policies that follow their own politics for their own demographic, and that is what they do, right? That's how they operate businesses. And it's just like an application. If an application doesn't do what you need it to do, you don't use it. If an organization's policies don't align with the way how you go about your life, then you don't need to go work there. And so I look at organizations where, if I'm seeing like they have a dress code, right? If I see they have a dress code, I'm like, I'm probably not going to fit the bill because
Yep.
I have visible tattoos. And so I look at things like that. But to be honest, and maybe I'm trying to find a problem where there isn't one, but I actually haven't come across one yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe that's indicative of the current state of corporate America. You know what I mean? Plus, it's worth qualifying. Okay, so this is one thing that occurred to me yesterday when I was thinking about this conversation we were going to have. For those of you who don't know, and right now there's only 21 of us here, and I recognize a lot of them, so they might know you. Jon is an offensive security professional. He is very, very, skilled at the OffSec side, the hacking side of the house. And personally, based on my experience, I'm not saying that GRC people don't get ink because I've got tattoos, but I feel that the offensive side of the information security space is not just more accepting of tattoos because of the kind of hacker culture, but it fits into that whole vibe of what's going on there and like the, that culture. So, I'm curious if maybe one of the reasons you're not getting criticized or any type of discrimination is not just because we have a modern society, but also the work you do. It's almost more credible that you're badass, like at offensive security.
I guess. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say you're wrong or say you're right. Because it's funny because being in offensive security, I don't want to even say like my tattoos were influenced by my career or vice versa, but they kind of, I do have a hacker tattoo, and it actually happens to be the one on my neck right here. Because if you look, I don't know how well the video picks it up, but it's
it's the Guy Fawkes mask.
Yeah, it's the Guy Fawkes mask, and it's surrounded by bats. And just a little 30-second snippet about myself is that I'm a big Batman fan, have been since I was before I could walk, literally. And but in the DC universe, Batman is known as having the first supercomputer that was a hacking computer. So like all the people in the DC universe would come to him to be like, hey, we need you to crack these codes or whatever. And they kind of depicted that in the Batman versus Superman movie, where he actually like uses his computer to hack stuff in a more like modern way. And so this was actually a dedication to him being a hacker. Like it's my hacker tattoo of like, this is my my semblance or remembrance of Batman being the OG hacker, so to speak.
I love it. I love it. And guys, just so you know, if you want to drop pictures of your tats and put them on stream, there's a Google Drive and people have started dropping them. So I'm going to start bringing them in and we can talk about them. A lot of great comments in here. I just want to share too. Like I am going to be getting shoulder to above elbow sleeve at some point here. Like I've already got the artist picked out. I've already got the idea laid out. It's just a matter of getting it, which by the way, anyone that knows me personally, except my wife, thinks it doesn't align with them. They're like, you're a straight laced conservative nerd. Like what are you talking about getting inks? And they just don't know me, man. They don't know me, man. So let's bring on a tat, Jon, real quick. Look at this. Sometimes we need a little fantasy. I think this is Final Fantasy VII. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's Final Fantasy 11, right? Isn't that the Cloud sword? I think.
I'm gonna play ignorant to this. I actually don't know. I recognize the sword. I thought that kind of looks like Link's sword. It looks like it's Brian's.
Yeah, it's Brian says it's his. Brian, I think this is Final Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy VII. There we go.
Good call. All right, what else we got? We got another one in here. It looks like this is some glyphs potentially language glyphs. I'm not 100% sure.
That's what it
Again,
looks
this
like.
looks like it's possibly on the wrist or the calf area.
It looks like a
Um,
calf. Yeah, it looks like the back of a leg. Correct me if I'm wrong, whoever's in there.
yeah,
That's
definitely not. I mean, this would not be taboo. Either of those. I mean, one of them is completely covered. Definitely not taboo. I don't think anyone's throwing shade at either of these tattoos.
I think there was another. Was there another one that got dropped in there?
Oh yeah, you guys are the best. Look at this. Yeah, let me hold on 1 second.
I also wanted to put too, and this
One's hard to see. This one's hard to see. I think it's on his arm. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, it looks like something. It looks like
So I like that. I like that one. So this one is interesting because this one is going to be visible on short sleeve shirts, but I find that the inner forearm and text, and I know you could do anything on the inner forearm, but I find inner forearm text particularly nice. I actually want to get something done like that, so I'm completely biased on that. But unless it says something like something just horrific that would be really, really unsettling, like if that's what's written there, which I'm sure it's not. So
also to kind of go back to what you were talking about with the field of what I'm working in, as I mentioned too, and this is where I wanted to be like, kind of like we might have to like rethink our ethical thought process and all of this. Is that our bias is that you talked about GRC and then OffSec and the cultures are different, right? But again, I would if I could honestly say yes, offensive security is much more inclusive. You could have your face painted with tattoos and they'd be like, cool, man, can you do the job? And yeah. And it's a lot more expected and anticipated for folks in OffSec to just be a artistic or different bunch, while still being professional. But the thing is that is where I can, if that was just if that was the only lane I was in, then I could be like, oh yeah, it's because of offensive security. But because of being an academic and also being an educator, I defended my dissertation in a suit and tie, but I had very visible tattoos and I got cool remarks from my board about them. And then from the different universities that I've worked with over the past couple of years, in person or virtual, even with virtual, still doing full camera and everything so people can see me.
Yep.
I've like I said, I've gotten some looks where people have probably had their own thoughts behind their mind. Maybe they're coming up with their own ideas about like maybe this is different. Maybe I am unintentionally being a trailblazer. I don't know, but but I can tell you that like I still haven't gotten any like negative things back from having tattoos even in academia. And so I think it kind of plays into that part where, maybe some of our biases are wrong. Maybe people just don't really care anymore. But like, I know we were kind of riffing a little bit before we went live here. And I was like, I've explained like, I know there's going to be jobs I'm going to never have because I do have visible tattoos, but I also understood that before I got them.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And like the fact that in our industry right now, we are accepting of people who don't have college degrees, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to, and again, that's not exactly apples to apples with skin, but my point is like, it's much more output based now, right? Can you do the work? How much training do I need to give you? How much value can you deliver to me and how quickly can you do it? Oh, you have ink. Like, it's not that way. I feel like maybe in the more stuffy kind of institutional areas, like if you were going to go work for KPMG or, Accenture, one of these, and not in a, like, I guess that's not exactly one for one, because if you're going to go work for Accenture, but you're going to support like a Navy client and you're on the Navy base the whole time, you might it might not be a big deal if you're all inked up, just because like the way that the Navy is currently not caring, so much about it.
A good question. I mean, it depends. Again, there's these guidelines that are in place. I was in the military and I got more visible tattoos while I was in the military. This was a long time ago, but then also recently within the past year, I worked as a contractor for a 4-letter organization that you might have heard of called NASA. And I had to go on site and do things with NASA employees, like actual government employees. And I would show up, I would present myself professionally, suit and, or not suit, but like, business class clothes, with my tattoos. And I was still taken seriously as a professional for what I knew and what I was doing. So
Yeah, I
again,
feel like if you didn't know what the hell you were doing and you had no tattoos, you'd be seen as a clown versus having tattoos and knowing what you're doing, right? I mean, it's not, at the end of the day, it's not about that, you know.
right, which I don't want to jump the gun. This is your platform, but I also saw that Jax asked a question that kind of leads into that what we're talking about.
Yeah, let me see where Jax's questions are. What was it?
It was about something with experience. I saw that.
I've got. Oh, do you need? Oh, here we go. You go ahead and answer that while I keep working on this thing.
Yeah. So Jax asked, "Do you believe that your years of experience have helped others accept the tattoos? It might not be the same experience for a newbie," which is something that Dr. G and I were actually talking about right before we came online.
That's a very fair question too.
And it is, and it very much is, right? And this is kind of the thing of where you have to play the game but also be true to yourself, right? And there's always going to be, somebody mentioned something, Parker said it takes courage to grow up and become who you are, or who you really are, right? And so there's another saying too, like, it's better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you are not, right? Mm-hmm. So if you want to get tattoos, right, and I'm going to kind of indirectly answer it, Jackson, then directly answer it, is that if tattoos are something that you want to do, I've wanted tattoos and loved and been interested in tattoos since I was about 5 years old. In a previous life, I actually thought about becoming a tattoo artist. But you need to make sure that you, just like you set up your career plan, right? You set up your career like, I'm going to, this is my 5-year plan of how I'm going to get to where I want to get, right? You need to think about if you want to get something that's like a visible tattoo, like on your neck or on your hands, is that going to potentially hinder or make the pendulum swing in a way that might not go in the favor of your career? Or is it going to introduce an unknown variable that you're not really secured with yet? And that unknown variable would be, is there going to be someone with bias that's going to not want to have you on their team because of that? And rather you think it's right or wrong, you're entitled to your opinion, but so is the employer, right? And that's the beauty of it, is that we're all entitled to our own opinion. But what I'm getting at is that when you're starting out, you want to make sure that you have the entire playing field as your buffet, right? Because you were starting out and you were trying to get your niche and get your way into where you're trying to go. So I would recommend if you're also just, itching for some ink, do it in places that are coverable. Unless you already have it in non-coverable places, then you already know how to I guess move about those waters. But if you're just starting out and you need to get ink, if it's something you're trying to do, then get it in non-visible places, because you want to make sure that you come off you want to have your slate as clean as possible, because you're going to build that up, right?
You want to eliminate any potential discrimination, good or bad, from limiting your ability to work a year and get that first year of experience in the industry and then move on, or whatever. Yeah, it's absolutely true.
That's kind of, and so to directly answer the question too with what Jax was saying, and I know kind of mentioned this before too, before we went on the air, is that, when I got my first visible tattoo on my forearm when I was 18, and I was told that was going to jeopardize my career. And, I'm 32 now, so that's 14 years ago. Like, look at me now, right? And so, but with that being said, I knew that I wanted to get visible tattoos. It's been something that I've been itching for the longest time, for the very longest time. And I knew once I got to a certain point in my career where I was technically competent and I had shown myself as this, this positive, influential person in the field, right? I've gotten to write a book with Gerald and even Jackson the stream, and then another mentee of mine who is doing amazing things with her life. I've written my own book, gotten a doctorate, working on a second one, doing a bunch of other stuff, not trying to sit here and put myself up on a pedestal. What I'm saying is that I got myself to a point where I have secured myself, what I feel like. Again, somebody could come and knock me over, and if they do, then I figure out how to get back up. But so I have secured myself as a technical and positional influencer, right, in the field, to where people understand that I am positional, meaning like I take charge, I'm collaborative, and I generally want to help out the industry as a whole and really find, I guess, passion in offensive security. And then also because I've, written a book, I've made a track record for being able to be technically competent. People now know me as that person. So if I get a tattoo in a visible area, they're just going to be like, oh, John's just working on his tattoo work now. Right. Like, that's
exactly. Exactly. And I feel like it's really just, certain people get lots of tattoos and certain people don't get any tattoos. It's just, I feel like it's much more in our society. I feel like people are beginning to accept individuality instead of like what category do you fall into? Like individuality is being celebrated across many different dimensions, and tattoos is just another one. So we got some more tattoos in here. I want to jump around. I see your questions coming into a lot of great questions. Base, thanks for dropping the tattoo link again. Let's look at some. So this is a good one. I like this. This is the inside of the forearm, I believe. It's obviously verbiage and probably means something quite special to this individual. I like this. I'm a fan of the cursive writing done tastefully.
Yeah, no, I really like that. When I was talking about how my first very visible tattoo was on my forearm, it's actually a quote by Miles Davis. So, and I've learned that people get those in a very visible place because it is typically used as a reminder of something.
Yeah. Mine is, I want to get something tattooed here that's actually a phrase about remembering. So it's kind of a double play on that. All right, let's keep looking. You guys are dropping some great ones. Here we go.
Did you remember to turn off the coffee pot? That's what I put on my forearm.
Get milk. Yeah, so we've got a pocket watch arm tattoo. This looks good. I like the realism of the watch itself.
Yeah, that's
pretty
really
cool.
Good.
Like it. You can see the pictures coming in. Oh, wow, look at this hot action. We got looks like two different tattoos. Spider-Man and
oh, is it Spider-Man?
I think it's Spider-Man.
Can we zoom in on that?
Yeah, hold on. Is that Mandalorian?
That's why I just said, is that Mando? Whose is this?
Who is this? Yeah, whoever this is. Let's go. Okay.
But again, something that's super, the other thing too that I want to iterate too is that this is stuff that's like tasteful and it's well done. Oh, it's a knight. Oh, it looks like a knight. But this is stuff that is tasteful, that looks good, and that also, it's obviously something that holds true to you, which is another thing too. There's going to be different types of tattoos that you get, and a lot of people will get tattoos because they look good, or a lot of people get tattoos because that's something that's true and near to them.
Absolutely, dude. I love this sleeve. Look at the sleeve, man.
That's awesome.
This really rose is excellent right here. This is cool. Yeah. I'm a big fan. Plus, again, now we're kind of bordering the line between our tattoos taboo and just like dropping our thoughts on these tattoos. But I love that it's got like the kind of the bookend here for, like the wristlet kind of distinguishing the end of the tat.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if I saw someone with this in the workforce, I would be fine with it. There's nothing unpleasant about it. There's nothing. Here's my thing. Okay, John, like, so someone has this tattoo, right? And you're like, oh, absolutely not. This is unacceptable. This is IBM. We don't do this bullshit here. Yet this person wears a shirt that has the same print on it, right? And it's socially acceptable, right? Like, what is the freaking difference? Because you didn't get a tattoo, sir?
Yeah, no, it's Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. And I think, again, it goes with the sense of like, it's just equality in the workplace, right? And
Yeah. Very
if
nice,
you,
Michelle.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. But it's equality in the workplace, and if somebody doesn't agree with it, I mean, it's that, again, if it fits company policy, cool, it fits company policy. But I know if I was at a round table with people, and all this, and even if it's people that I worked with for like 5 years, and then all of a sudden somebody was like, I didn't like their tattoo, or I didn't like it, that, I think I'm gonna put more in the sense of right now, and this is not to be, I'm not being like trying to be segregated, but like it's more common for men in interviews, from my experience, to wear, like button down t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, and maybe like an overcoat or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's also common for women to wear dresses. So the reason why I say that is because a woman, if wearing a dress, or like a some, like, I don't even know if a dress is the right way to put it, but like a blouse or something, not a blouse, a dress, I guess is the better way to put it, like a professional dress. But what I'm saying is that it will typically expose arms. And so, if I was at and I'm using that as an example because if somebody was like, if a woman was being interviewed, and then a male colleague all of a sudden was like, yeah, did you see that she had tattoos on her arms, like that's how she's going to dress and look in the workplace. Like, to me, that is a negative that's a negative way of self-expression, right? The coworker being like, yeah, what
Mm-hmm.
the hell, versus the other person who like could have nailed the interview out of the park, and tattoos were just like the person, right? And
Yeah.
I would look at the guy and be like, you know what, maybe we need to reconsider your employment, and then bring on the other person, right?
Yeah. Let's
um
see if the candidate's skills align with your job, Carl.
yeah, right, exactly. And so, yeah, I mean, I can't, and honestly, maybe just now, but in this day and age, I couldn't imagine being in an interview with someone, and then and them having a visible tattoo, and then somebody being like, yeah, but did you see their tattoos? I'm gonna just be like, no. Or, yeah, I did, it was pretty cool looking.
Yeah. Interesting. So, okay. So Jax asks, so there are different standards for women, and you just spoke about women in the professional setting and tattoos and stuff like that. My initial thought was, I actually think women have more grace to be given to them as far as having tattoos invisible over men, and that's just my personal reflection on it. But Jess Bishop actually just said that people post nasty comments about women tattoos on social media. I didn't realize that. Is there like I didn't realize that people were being like rude and harmful on women tattoos. I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe I come from a different background,
I've
but
seen a little bit of that, honestly, especially within well, we were talking about this recently, by today,
yeah,
in the the garbage dumpster, or dumpster fire, that you have to pilfer through, that is known as Twitter.
yeah,
And so there you will see a lot of double standards in general on the Twitter platform. And so I've seen stuff like that where women will get judged for their tattoos, but also women will just get judged for literally anything,
yeah.
because it's
A
a bunch
lot of
of,
people just casting. Yeah,
well, there's a bunch of type A macho cyber men on Twitter that try to, do whatever they think that they need to do to validate themselves. And a lot of times it's to target women that, are just different, or out there killing it. And, they are, they're making,
threatening. Yeah,
yeah, they're threatening the position of the cyber tech dude, whatever. Anyways, so with that comment, though, again, is that or with the women being more subjective to it, with the expectation of tattoos, is, unfortunately, I don't know about where I live in Western Washington. It's a pretty, I mean, for the area that I live in, nobody really cares. But I'm sure if I went back home to central North Carolina, and not knocking on anybody that might live in that area, it might be different.
yeah.
Um, I mean, well, you live in Charleston. Well, Charleston's a pretty
Yeah,
accepting
yeah,
place, right?
yeah. It's a pretty liberal place. It's it's people are very accepting of different ideas and cultures and stuff here. A bit of a melting pot, but yeah,
Right.
no,
But
I get it. It like where you come from and what the collective standards are of a population will influence decisions and stuff like that. No
ex-
doubt.
exactly. And that's kind of one of the things too, where it's, if you are
This guy,
the
this guy.
trailblazer or the game changer, it doesn't matter what you're doing. And unfortunately, women, I am all for like women being in tech and leading the rings and doing all the cool things, like, because y'all are doing, pardon my French, but doing awesome shit. And
Yep.
and if somebody is knocking on you for having a tattoo, like, maybe ask them why don't they have tattoos, or if they do, right? And
Or ask him what difference does it make? what,
right.
what difference does it make? Let's look at some more tattoos, John. This is Justin Gold's Phoenix. It's got a personal story, which a lot of tattoos typically do.
Mhm.
This is inside forearm, I believe. It looks like a forearm from
Yeah,
the
that's
elbow to the
definitely a
wrist
forearm.
here.
That
Looks
looks like
good.
left forearm. I like it. I like how the red just kind of is very subtle, unless that's not red. That's just from the arm being sore, because that also looks like it's like you. It looks like you're still maybe in the shop. Well, no, maybe I don't know, but
Healing.
that looks pretty fresh. Yeah, it looks like it's
Yeah,
healing.
it looks fresh. Yeah, I like how the tails are particularly deep red. Honestly, I don't know if that was by design or not, but I do
Mm.
like that. Let's look at a couple more. Whoa, we've got. Oh, that's. I thought that was both legs done, not the same picture twice.
We all change everything about.
The
So this
doctor
is,
was. Yeah.
it's something that, again, this is one of those things people don't just. I mean, sometimes people get just words tattooed on them, but for the most part, 9.9 times out of 10, someone's going to get something like this tattooed on them because it means something. And if you have that, I mean, I've walked up to people, and I've had people walk up to me, and ask about it, like, what does the tattoo on such and such mean, right? Because especially for me, I have some wording right here, and I have some wording right here and here.
Mm-hmm.
um and then also on my ribs I have some stuff too, and I mean, not that people see my ribs, but they do see my forearms. And so, like, I get asked quite a bit, what is that, what's that mean, or who's that for, right? And that's the thing that's always interesting when you see tattoos like this, is that someone got that because of, to mark remembrance of some moment in their life. Cyberhound, it's dope.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And again, like, here's my thing with word tattoos. And I agree with Justin Gold. This Simply Cyber Live this week is much more chill and relaxed and good times. I like words, guys. Like, I have multiple notebooks. I have to write stuff down all the time, so I remember. For me, when you're writing something down on your body, it's you want to never forget it, and you want to see it every time if you put it in a visible place, every time you get dressed, every time a less visible place, every time you shower, like, so you never forget, right? And I think that's the important part of that particular tattoo genre, if you will.
Yeah.
So
The other thing
what?
is too, is like, I know for myself, so on the inside of my forearm, I
Oh,
don't
I'm
know.
sorry. Hey, it's not Justin Gold's Phoenix. He had mentioned a Phoenix. It's somebody else's. So whoever's Phoenix that was, I apologize. Let me know who it was in chat, and I'll highlight you.
On my forearm, I was trying to stand up and see if you could see it, but on my forearm here, it's kind of blurry, but on my forearm I have, it says, "Do not fear mistakes, there are none," and that was something I got tattooed on me when I was 18. And this is back in a previous life when I thought music was what I was going to go do as a profession.
Mhm.
But anyways, I got "Do not fear mistakes, there are none." It's a famous quote by Miles Davis. And I got that on me with some other like musical stuff around it. And I got that because it's what he says towards jazz. No regrets. It's what he says towards jazz, because jazz is a very free flowing type of music. But I saw it and interpreted it as a way of, at that time in my life, to help me with anxiety. And so, because I was a very anxious teenager, and And so while that tattoo, I remember looking at that tattoo numerously throughout my early 20s as like a, you know, a way to be like, oh, you know, it's just a thought, yada, yada, yada. And now in my older life, I've pretty much anxiety is gone. I mean, it, you know, creeps up just like it does in all of us sometimes. But the other thing is too, is that that tattoo you're talking about is like a reminder for like, you know, as of something that it's also a reminder. Tattoos can be a reminder of like a time in your life and how you've grown from that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, I know I've used when people have asked me about that tattoo because it's a pretty visible tattoo and somebody's got to actually like look at it and read it. So, I know I've talked to people and been like, oh, it's just, you know, it's that is one of the stamps on me. It's a time in my life that is reminding me like of where I came from. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, dude. Yeah. Like actually, I mean, just to share with the group here, the tattoo I want to get written here is everything looks clear in the rear view mirror. That's exactly what I want to get tattooed. So I can always reflect and retrospectively consider. We have so many great tattoos here, guys. You guys are dropping some great ones here. And by the way, it was Cyber Tech Hound. It was his words or her words, I'm not sure, and their Phoenix as well. So sorry, Justin, on that. All right, let's keep looking. Oh, this is good. Wait, hold on. Gosh, you guys are dropping so many here now. This looks like Egypt's. Hold on. There we go.
Oh, that's the Egyptian eye.
Oh, are they messing with us? This says GRC Masterclass. Someone's messing with me. All right. I don't know if this is a real tattoo or not, but this is hilarious. Thank you to that individual for committing to their skin. Here we go. We got a couple pieces here. Looks like lower arm, so visible on short sleeve. Plus, personally, yeah, I always like tattoos that are up here that go below even though I'm not going to do it, that go below the sleeve line because it hints to like there's something cool going on underneath there. This is cool. I like it. So we got some flowers, a diamond, a lock.
Whoever it looks like this is. Oh, I was going to say whoever's picture this is. What is your trap workout as well? Like, wow.
Yep, very strong.
Let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved that one. Now this is interesting. This is a Pacific Northwest style tattoo, which one of my tattoos is also Pacific Northwest style. You probably see this quite a bit up in your part of the world, John. I love this this eagle here on like great placement, great color. Whoever's this is, I love this. Whoever, drop it in chat. I know there's a 20-second delay, but
yeah, no, I really like that color. That's yeah, it's very much in line with the with like the tribal designs that we have up here in the Pacific Northwest and in Alaska. A lot of the Inuit stuff the Inuit artwork also resembles a lot of the same that we see here with the tribes up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I love it. I love the colors too. You see a lot of times those colors like kind of pop, right? A little bit more than they normally do. This is Michelle's, and she drew all of them herself. So nice work, Michelle. Very cool. Very cool.
So she's a tattoo junkie and she's an artist and she's got traps that would make Bane jealous.
No, I expect you to get a tattoo, Batman.
Oh, man.
Let me see. This looks like it was Cyber Tech Hounds or Cyber Hound Techs again. So very cool. The Thunderbird. Very nice. Let's keep rolling through these. We've seen these. Oh, I love this. I can't rotate this, unfortunately. I don't have the option to rotate it, but I love this style. I love this. First of all, this is exactly the same layout. I want to get my tattoo from the shoulder down to right above the elbow. But I like it when you have ink and then you have something filling the background, like this kind of Japanese style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
cool.
I like the colors in that are super vibrant, and the way how the dragon is like you can notice if you look like the dragon is a lot more, the color is a lot more prominent than the flowers, which also are in color, and then the background is in black and white. So it's like it's an interesting contrast where it's really deep color in the main image, and then there's still color in the background, but that doesn't pop as much and then you obviously have the black and gray to help help you focus on the dragon. That's a really cool tattoo.
I like it, dude. Here, let's keep rolling. And if you say it's yours in chat, we'll give you some credit. Is it Spastix maybe? All right, Spastic, nice job on the tat. Looks like Michelle wanted to be a tattoo artist. Here we go. Let's keep rolling. Oh, look at this. We got some lower back art here. Very nice.
Why did I think that was you? Is that you? No.
It is me. Yeah. I took it while we were talking just a few minutes ago because I didn't.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So I won't show. My upper back one is I couldn't take a picture of it, but everybody gets a kick out of the fact that I have this tattoo. So I wanted to share it with the Simply Cyber community. That's bold choice, Cotton.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, cool. Is there a story behind it?
There is. Oh, and the dragon was Simon Hilton's. Thank you, Base, for helping me with that. Okay, guys. So let me tell you a little story here about why I have a lower back tribal tattoo. Okay, this is true. So the year was 1996. Okay, and this particular tattoo has a colloquial term for it that's slang, right? Which I'm not going to use because I don't know if it's derogatory or not. But the idea of predominantly women getting this tattoo on their lower back didn't take off until about 97, 98. I wrestled in high school and I was pretty good. And me and the other kind of wrestling team members, like the ones who competed and stuff, you'd wear a singlet, but when you weren't wrestling, you'd have the singlet pulled down, the top part rolled down. So you'd just be shredded and exposed and everything. And it would sit right on top of where the singlet was. So it was just cool. It looked cool. I was 16. I thought it was badass. And we all had it. So I went and got one. And then the next summer, it turned into something completely different. And I refused to get this tattoo removed or changed because I had it first. So that's what's going on here with this.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's good to know though, that there's 6 other guys who have very similar ones running around, probably the Massachusetts area right now. So,
okay. I think I put I'm trying to put 1 or 2 in there.
I wish I could get my lower back tattoo. My upper back tattoo shown right now. If someone could take a picture for me, I'd appreciate that. But most people are stunned when they find out I have that lower tattoo.
I like that. That's cool.
That is very cool.
The color of is it a? I don't want to say whoever's that is. What is that?
It looks like a bull, right?
It looks like a bull, but the horns aren't full.
Like a baby bull?
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious, and that's my mind. My mind is well, why a baby bull?
Yeah, it's cool though. Whoever drew it, look, what's really badass? That they used the blue and the shading on the shadow side of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's really a good artist, a good tattoo artist. Wow. It's a bull. Might be the type of bull. That's me. It's a Taurus. Oh, it's Alex's. Nice job, Alex. That's a really well done tattoo. I like it.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
Again, just to keep it on topic, I don't know anyone who's going to be like, no, you can't work here. I'm more of a bear person. Yes, I do love the teal too. Very cool. Very cool. Let's keep it going. This lower back tattoo. Somebody, Spastic, said I should get my full back done. I did consider that for a hot minute, but I've decided to do the sleeve on my arm instead. So what else? Oh, by the way, we're going to give some love to Nick Barker. I think it was Nick's. This is a legit tattoo. He just added the GRC masterclass after the fact. So, I like it. It's not causing me any pain or consternation to see it on a coworker or anything like that. Yeah, it's a fun. You're right, Jess. No. Jess. Nightbot just dropped a link you can use to put it in there. I agree that these tats are all awesome. This is a really fun stream today. Here's one. Oh my God, John, Oh, this is yours.
Yeah, that's mine. I'm putting some in there right now. That's why I'm looking down.
Wow. How
That's
old is that one? That's really dark, inky blacks.
yeah, that's when I got it. I mean, you can tell that my hand is swollen because it's on this hand now, and it's not nearly like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that I think was like a few days after I got it. But yeah, that one was that was fun. That was fun. You want to talk about like pain tolerance? I uploaded that one, and there's one. I think it's like the third one at the top. I uploaded that one as well.
Oh, I see.
So that's
my
cool. Yeah. So the whole right side of my body is all Batman and musical stuff, and then it goes up into that to where all the bats and the smoke flutter and onto my neck.
Yeah, I always think it's cool too. Like, obviously, you had this Joker card prior to the smoke coming in, but I like I said before, I just like it when there's this cohesive connecting element out of it. So, one funny thing that we were talking about earlier. Where is it?
There we go. Yep, we were talking about this.
Yeah, which one was it though? One of them says you can only have 4 tattoos.
Oh, the Marine Corps, right? With the officers.
Yeah, where is it? Oh, yeah. So this is the Marine Corps' guidelines on tattoos. You cannot have them in the red area. However, officers are limited to no more than 4 visible tattoos on the standard PT uniform. My question for chat and for you, John, is this count as one tattoo?
I mean,
it all connects.
Yeah, I was about to say it depends on who you look at or who you ask, because I mean, technically, if you were to ask that, I mean, both sides are all connected, and I mean, eventually they'll be connected. So like from hand to hand, it would be one tattoo technically, but yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where I guess it's going to be based on it's going to be based on just subjectiveness, and it's funny. You know, not to even like make funny of the lighthearted comment, is that the Marine Corps and the military, well, just the military right now in general, it's almost like cyber, where like they're not having enough people come in anymore into the military. So they're, you know, they're trying to get people to come in, and they're waiving a lot of things. They're throwing a lot of bonuses around and stuff. And just kind of like how cyber is like, it's a negative unemployment rate, right? There's like 30 jobs for one quote unquote qualified person.
Can I get this tattoo on stream? Oh, I can't. Like choking.
He's so rich.
Like that one's
what is
like, I wish I could show it better.
Is it a dinosaur?
No, it's a wolf. It's a Pacific Northwest style wolf on a new moon.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. So I wish I could take a picture, guys, but I just don't have the capability to do it right now. Whoa.
But yeah, the with the way how tattoos are now, I feel like too, if you're going into a field that needs people, I'm pretty sure you could probably have some really garbage looking ink on a very exposed part of your body, and they'd be like, we'll work with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly. It's all about supply and demand, right? And if like people are willing to look, like, I mean, look at to take an extreme example, look at the NFL. Some of the NFL athletes do despicable things, but if they can catch a football and score a touchdown, it's like, well, okay, like we're cool with that. And I'm not saying being like criminal is the same as getting a tattoo, but my point is that performance trumps, personal discrimination or opinion.
Right. No, it definitely does. And that also kind of goes into a comment that was kind of made, and I don't know if we actually fully answered it or not, but is like, if you're also going to go into cyber, like in offensive security, you can go into consulting. And if you're going into consulting, you're going to be talking to a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders, right? And a stakeholder's job is just to give money to company to make their money turn into more money, right? And so they are going to have a lot of they might have a lot of prejudice or bias that you can't really persuade, because guess what? If they don't want to, if they don't feel like their money is going to good use, they're going to take it somewhere else. And so that's one thing too, is that if you get visible tattoos and you're in consulting, be mindful of that. Know who you're consulting with, or know that, you might potentially not be able to go work for a certain consultancy shop. I'm not going to put any names out there, because I have not experienced it, but it is one of those things to just be like, we are in a day and age where that can still be possible. But at the same time, and I know we were talking about this before, is that also know that Jerry and I were talking a little about this literally before we came online, is that the generation that is coming to, be the, some of you are in that generation where there's going to be the replacements of who's going to be signing Jerry and I's checks when we're older and we just want to like clock in, do our job, and like clock out and go live on a boat or something, right? And when that day comes, the people that are going to be signing our checks is the new generation that, from what I've experienced as an educator, doesn't care. they don't care. So that's another thing of like insight, is that like, if you're in the field now, or you're trying to get into the field and you're still like, but I want to get hand tattoos because I want to do it because whatever. Know that in like 10 years, like if you're still playing your career path right now and you're trying to get your foothold, in 10 years, when you're finally solid, because you'll be solid in 10 years, if not less, hopefully half, if not half that, then get your tattoos after that. Because at that point, nobody's going to care. Like that whole, like, we've kind of exposed each other in this sense where it's like, yeah, even our biases towards the gray beards, it's like, are they even really still there?
Yeah. Well, and we're really talking exclusively about cybersecurity, because there are other, like there are other,
for sure.
Yeah, like a judge with a face tattoo might not get that job. A police officer, although I have seen some police officers recently with ink. Like a kindergarten teacher, you might have a tough time if you have tattoos. I'm not saying that it's a no tattoo policy, but it's just, keeping it exclusively at cybersecurity.
Right. And that's, and I didn't even think about that because I was just my mind was in the swim lane of like, we're talking cyber stuff. If you want to go be an accountant or like a lawyer or someone that's going to be working with a lot of people that their opinion is going to probably come a lot based off of like their image of you, then nah, you can't be getting no tattoos like that. But if you're working in tech where, the stigmatism is kind of even like, tech is a bunch of nerds, like, all right, cool. Well, use that to your advantage.
Exactly. Here's some more ink. I think this is Jess Bishop. She had mentioned earlier that she has skeletons. I really like it. I'm a little curious. It looks like this is like where the wild things are.
That looks like the Royal Rumpus. That's what was reminding me of.
Yeah. And then this looks like a Grateful Dead bear, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the Grateful Dead bear is doing the Royal Rumpus.
I'm thinking this top right one here is the like in Death Rode In on a Horse or whatever, like the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse one.
Yeah,
Jess, you want to comment, Jess, on these things?
Jess says it is. I don't know how it is with the delay.
Because the question is this yours?
I'm getting very Day of the Dead vibes from the top one too.
Jose Posada. I don't know who that is. Is that the baseball player? No, that's Jorge Posada. I like sports. Okay.
No, that's but I like those. Those are cool.
Yeah, they're fun, Jess. I like it too. And Michelle earlier said something to the nature of we all learned a little bit more about each other today. We all got a little bit more familiar with each other today. I agree. That was definitely kind of the vibe of today's stream. I really
no, I was just gonna say, I think like the thing I like about today too is that you have, and I'm not putting us up on a pedestal, but like you have 2 subject matter experts, or maybe I sound pretentious saying that. You have 2 people who very obviously, cyber has been a big part of their life because of their track records. And here we are, we could probably be sitting here riffing about all the cyber things and, academia and freaking degrees and stuff, but we're not. We're sitting here being vulnerable and just talking about normal things.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, cybersecurity is a lifestyle. It's a community. It's a culture. It goes beyond skills, right? And like new technologies and the newest exploits and crap like that. I mean, that's all very important, but we're all human too, and we all interact with each other. So these type of conversations are definitely valuable. I had pulled up some resources because I didn't know where we were going to go today. But it's just some interesting things to leave you with. We only got a couple more minutes here. no surprise. Here, let me zoom in a little bit. This is from some survey. Tattoos in the workplace show 63% of people over 60 don't approve of tattoos, right? So that's kind of as expected. Professional athletes are the top based on approval rates and tattoo and job stats, right? So people don't care. It's performance-based. Head, face, and neck tattoos are forbidden in all branches of the military. And I guess we saw that a little bit. Although, again, the Navy is easily the most forgiving, I guess, because the Navy's been the oldest. I mean, sailors have been getting tattoos since, the Spanish fleet. And then the Marine Corps, really setting the standard, are much more regimented. We were trying to wrap before we went live on why the Marine Corps doesn't want you to get tattoos in these spaces. And my only thought is that they're afraid that you could injure the soldier's elbow or knee, which is obviously pretty important for soldiering. Although John countered with, he's seen many Marines with full sleeves. So
it's almost
rubbish.
like a rite of passage.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also one of those things too. And from being in the military previously, I was and for those of you who don't know, I was in the Navy, and but I worked with Marines a lot, have a lot of friends who are Marines. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's policy, but camaraderie within the military is so thick that, I got visible tattoos. Well, the Navy's lax. I didn't get neck tattoos, but depending on like the Navy policy you just pulled up is fairly new. When I got in, like they would be, if you got a tattoo on like your forearm, they would be without approval, you would get in trouble. And so that's the other thing too, is that, those policies that are in place there, you can get approval from your chain of command to be like, oh yeah, I want to get this because, of whatever, right? It's for my kids, or it's for my spouse, or it's for the Marine Corps or whatever, right? So like you can get a tattoo of Garfield the cat and be like, yeah, this is for the Marine Corps, right? And they'll be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, you just put a globe and anchor on Garfield's lasagna bowl, and there you go.
Right. And so it's kind of like that same thing too, where like if a company might also have a policy where, folks, like with the statistics that you brought up of 63% of folks over 60 don't approve. Mm-hmm. The folks that are 60 and above are typically going to be like the people in higher leadership, like executive leadership positions that probably don't even know your name. To be honest, unless you're working in leadership, which is another thing too. Like I know because of my tattoos, like if I ever one day I'm like, you know what, I think I want to become a CISO, it might be kind of difficult. But again, hopefully I'm hoping, like I said before, I'd rather be, hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. So, if someone wants to not hire me because of, if they want to base me because I have based their interactions off of me because of a tattoo and not because of my rapport and my character, then if anything, it's a good, tattoos are a good indicator, or a good stamp of approval for yourself to say, you know what, if someone's going to judge me because of my tattoos, who knows what else they would have judged me for. Right.
Yeah. And maybe catching this early instead of getting in here.
It's the red flag that like, kind of like puts itself in place and prevents you from actually doing any more harm to yourself. Right. Like, so yeah, you're kind of doing yourself a favor in a way. Because if somebody's going to judge you on your tattoos, that's probably going to be a class of people that, rather they think what they think is right or wrong, it's going to be their culture. But that's going to be a culture. It's an indicator of like this culture that you wouldn't get along with anyways, because if you even wanted tattoos on a visible part of your body, you couldn't get them. That's the culture there, that it's like anti that, right? And so you probably be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna do my thing, and then you'll probably be gone in 12 months. So why waste your time, right?
Exactly. I love it. All right, so we're at a couple minutes over time, guys. This was a really fun, relaxing, interesting conversation we had today with Dr. Jon, and all about tattoos and ink. We talked a little bit about its appropriateness in the workforce and kind of the discrimination that's going on there. But I really feel like sharing everybody's tattoos and, the reasons behind them and everything was like, it was fun. It was really fun and relaxing. So thank you for spending time with us today. Thank you for sharing your tattoos. I'm glad that I got an opportunity to kind of show mine. As the sleeve comes in, I will definitely be sharing it. Maybe I know a couple of people have asked in chat here to do something similar to this. I think what they're asking for is a more lighthearted stream. So maybe we'll start doing one a month where it's less about cybersecurity expertise and more about cybersecurity practitioners just kind of Jon about some particular topic in our industry. Yeah. Either way, Jon, thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely appreciate the time to get to be here.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. So everybody, thank you to our wonderful guest, Dr. Jon Helmus, for sharing his knowledge and experience. Thank you to each of you in chat for sharing your tattoos, for your engagement, for your questions. You guys always bring the heat every Thursday and every weekday morning, frankly. So Simply Cyber doesn't happen without you. If you're new here and you're not, this is like your first stream, you can catch live cybersecurity threat briefings every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and more cybersecurity expert interviews with awesome guests like Jon and really like Chad here at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we're doing it. I can't tell you what we're doing next week because my guest had to reschedule. We were going to be talking about zero trust architecture with Dr. Chase Cunningham. A lot of doctors floating around now, Jon. So we'll pivot and find a new topic for y'all next Thursday. So keep me honest. I'll let Cybersecurity Central know before Monday. So we can get that in there. But if you want, go to simplycyber.io/streams, simplycyber.io/streams for all the details about all upcoming shows. You've been watching Simply Cyber, everybody. Thank you so much and have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.